Today we're going to change a tubeless tire on a mountain bike. This happens to be an intense e-bike, and I'm going to start by removing the valve core here in this pressed valve, and I'm going to suck out. I've got this little tool right here, and I'm going to use this to pull out as much of the existing sealant as I can before I do anything else. First, I'll unscrew the top of the pressed valve, and then I'll let the air out. And then I'm going to remove the valve core. It turns out I've got two different tools to do that. There's a little tool they make for it, but they also have these caps, these pressed valve caps, and they come with a little slot that fits right over the pressed valve so you can unscrew it. It's really handy for having on the trail, because if you have to add more sealant or something, you can remove the core while you're out there and the tool's right on your tire. This tool goes on like this, and then you rotate it and it unscrews it. This tool right here is different. It slips over and it will slide down. See how it's locked on there? And then it acts like a little wrench to undo the valve core. Now I can put this little straw down in there, and you can see it's bottomed out, and then I just use this syringe to withdraw as much as I can out of there. Well, as you can see, I didn't get much. Next, I'll remove the wheel from off the bike. I do that by loosening the axle bolt. Then you take the bolt out and you carefully disengage the derailleur from the rear cluster. Now, with the tire off, I can go around, I can break this bead. You'll see that it feels like it's really tight, but it folds over, and then you can actually move it like I've done on this side. You can move it into the center. If you notice where the bead locks is much higher than in here. If you move the bead down into the low part, then it's easier to get the tire off of the rim. So I've done it on this side. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and then work the tire off the rim. Once you get a little bit of the tire off of the rim, then you can pretty much just get your finger in here, move it along, and you'll see that it'll just take the tire right off of here, just like this. The tool to use to get it off, you want to use something that's not going to scratch the rim. They make bike tire changing tools for that out of plastic so that they don't scratch it. Okay, I have one side off. You can see it's kind of messy in there, so keep a paper towel handy. This is all the old gunk. It's a little slimy. This is a little hard to do with one hand, but I'm going to show you to get the other one off. It's that easy. It just peels right off. You can do a lot of this with your hands, not needing tools. Now, I'm going to clean up this tubeless rim tape that has the old gunk on it. Get that nice and clean before I start with the new tire. Okay, this is the new tire that I'm going to install. Now, the question is which way to mount the tire. If you notice, this is the old tire, and it clearly has a rotation arrow on it that shows you which way to mount it. The way that the arrow is pointing is the same way that this front tire is mounted. And you can see the knobs, angles are kind of pointed as though it's an arrow going forward on the top, meaning on the bottom, they're backwards and they dig in, so that's for better braking. On this tire that I'm going to put on, there's no markings at all anywhere on the tire. A lot of tires will have it marked one way for forward and the opposite way, well, one way for the front and the opposite way for the rear. And they do that so that the rear tire is set up for climbing, the front tire is set up for braking. But if you put the rear tire on the same as the front, then it's going to emphasize braking more than climbing. So you just have to decide for yourself which one you want to emphasize, and you can either go the same direction as the front for braking or the opposite direction. In this case, I'm just going to put it in the same direction as the front tire. I've got both sides on the tire. I was able to do the second side with just my hands as well, not having to use any tools. I've moved both of the beads to the very center, and then now I'm going to use air to inflate the tire and push those beads. They fold over and they seal. And I haven't put the core back in the valve because I'm just going to inflate it enough to seal the beads, and then I need to add my sealant. For a tire this size, this is a 27.5 by 2.8, takes about 5 ounces of sealant. The best way that I've found to get the beads of the tire to seal on the rim is to use an air chuck like this that has the rubber tip, and that will mate tightly to the valve without the core in there. The blast of air will force the beads out and get them to seal almost instantly. I've got the rear tire mounted, and I've measured out 60 milliliters of new sealant. So I'm going to add this, and it turns out I'm going to have to refill this and add a full another 60 and then another 30, because this tire takes 150 milliliters. Now I'm ready to press the valve core back in, air up the tire, and make sure it doesn't leak.